Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video, and today I've got an announcement. I have a website, chaospolitics.com. Just type in chaospolitics.com and it'll send you to a website where I have only one article right now, but of course I am currently working on another article. There should be about 2, maybe 3 articles by the time you see this video. So today we're going to be talking about the first article I did, which is the 7 scenarios for the 2020 election. Of course, this article is going to be shorter than what most of my articles are going to be, but you know, first article, cut me some slack. So, let's talk about it. The first scenario on this list, of course, is the Biden landslide victory. As I have written here, this is the scenario we are looking at currently in the polls. A 10-plus popular vote victory for former Vice President Joe Biden. This scenario shows a 413 to 125 electoral vote victory for the Democrat Party. Democrats would flip 10 seats in the Senate. Montana, Colorado, that was a mistake. I feel bad now. Kansas, Iowa, Georgia, Georgia Special, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Maine. Whilst also flipping 30 to 50 seats in the House, giving Democrats a 262 to 177 majority in the House at the least. If this were the scenario, it would tell the American people and many historians that 2016 was just a fluke, an off year. It proves that the media was right about the president all this time, despite the right wing to push back on fake news. Credibility will be given back to places such as CNN, MSNBC, etc. Now, as you can see by this map, it is a very strange map. You can see this on LTE's video all the time. I mess with LTE, he's probably a good guy. But yeah, this is actually this is a thing people need to look at, that yes, we could see a landslide soon. We could be seeing a landslide from Joe Biden if the polls are correct and you don't vote. As you can see, a lot of states that polls say, hey, Trump +3 in Alaska, yeah, that's lean. Trump +4 in Montana, yeah, that's lean. +2 in Kansas, lean. Or toss up. Oh, +7 in Utah, Evan McMullen. But yeah, this is the map Republicans should be dreading. It should be. Because this shows that, yeah, this would halt the America First movement that is rising up in the Republican Party. This would. Now let's take a look at the next scenario, the Trump landslide victory. Where it is very red within inland United States. Quote, the scenario many left-wing pundits are fearing, a President Trump landslide victory, the likes of the 1988 presidential election, a 42-state landslide for the president, a margin of 419 to 119, a popular vote victory of 7+. Republicans would flip 4 seats in the Senate, Oregon, Minnesota, Alabama, and Michigan, whilst flipping 40 to 60 seats in the House, giving them a 237 to 192 majority at the least. This scenario will cause many left-wing media to lose credibility amongst normal Americans to the point that maybe they'll shut down or just localize them within the city of HQ. The president's approval will most likely increase 5 to 8 percentage points, as many Americans could end up seeing that the media was lying in this scenario, and may make calls to, quote-unquote, defund the media, even though that would be near impossible even with the Republican trifecta, unquote. Now, people who follow me people who are friends with me on Facebook, don't ask for my Facebook, you're not going to get it. But people, I posted on there, every day it seems like it's a higher and higher possibility that we could be seeing a Donald Trump landslide. With the early vote count, and with showing Republicans doing better than what they should be. At least in most states, unless you live in Pennsylvania. Then Republicans, get your ass out there and vote. And it just it's weird. Something's up. Clearly the polls are wrong, but by how much? If this were the map to happen, and states like Washington and Illinois were to go red, I'm honestly scared what the media would say. I'm very terrified. I think they would literally cry on camera like the young Turks didn't. Actually, one chick said she had to leave, and because she had to leave and get quote-unquote fresh air, but you can tell she was in tears. The next scenario is the convincing Biden victory. As you can see here, a very convincing margin. This scenario shows that the polls were mostly correct, off by roughly 3 to 5 percentage points. A margin of 319 to 219, and a popular vote victory of 5+. Joe Biden would become the 46th president of the United States. In the Senate, Democrats would flip 5 seats: Montana, Colorado, Arizona, Maine, and North Carolina. whilst Republicans would only flip the Alabama Senate seat, giving Democrats a 51 to 49 majority. In the House, Republicans would still make a net gain of 5 to 10 seats. This still gives Democrats a 227 to 202 majority at the least. The president would concede the race after losing either the state of Wisconsin or Florida to Biden, meaning that the riots should be kept to a minimum, or at least less than what they would be. This also means that there would be a Democrat trifecta under a convincing Biden victory. So all these far left policies that are being proposed by Joe Biden, it's going to happen. There's literally nothing stopping the Democrat Party from doing whatever they want for 2 years until the midterms, which most likely would go back to a Republican Senate, most likely. The next scenario is the convincing Trump victory, as you can see here. He flips Nevada, Minnesota, New Hampshire, Maine at large. Yeah. Essentially the 2016 Redux scenario. Many liberals cry as Donald Trump wins 22 more electoral votes than he does in 2016. A 328 to 210 margin. The president would win the popular vote by 2 percentage points. The quoting here is weird, meaning he wins the popular vote by the same margin he lost it by. That's what it means right there, as he did in 2016. This was the map for the president before COVID-19 occurred, and the economy was at an all-time high, and unemployment was low. So I forgot to mention that. In the Senate, Republicans would make a 1 net seat gain, flipping the seats of Michigan and Alabama, whilst Democrats would flip the Colorado Senate seat. At the House level, Republicans would flip 20 to 30 seats, giving them a 217 to 212 majority at the least. Biden would concede after the president had secured roughly 265 electoral votes, similar to what Hillary Clinton did back in 2016. So this is the map, bunch of lean Republican states. So this was essentially, this should be changed. It should be lean, likely. This was the map that I had. If you go back, you can see like a lot of these states is what I had. I actually had that as tilt blue, tilt red. I think that's it. I think I had you at tilt red as well. Next up is the razor-thin Biden victories. You can see here, essentially the exact same. Oregon should be safe. It should be. One of 2 scenarios, actually one of 3 scenarios, that will result in lawsuits and riots all across the country. Joe Biden will win the election with a 278 to 260 margin, whilst winning the popular vote by 3+ points. Democrats will make a net gain of 2 in the Senate, flipping Colorado, Maine, and Arizona, whilst Republicans will flip Alabama Senate seat. In the House, Republicans will flip 15 to 20 seats. Again, Democrats will still have a majority of 270 to 212. This scenario and the following 2 are what I believe Americans should pray does not happen, as hell could end up breaking loose in this great country if it were to occur. Next up, the razor-thin Trump victory. No change except Wisconsin red. A 270 to 216 margin. Donald Trump would win the presidency by the smallest of margins, smaller than President Bush's 2004 victory over John Kerry. The president would lose the popular vote by 4 percentage points or more, which will spark outrage among leftists across the country. The Kenosha George Floyd protests will be nothing compared to what will come after this scenario. Months of rioting and lawsuits. It could even go to either the House or the Supreme Court if any faithless electors choose not to vote for the president in any of the red states shown. All it takes is one to say no. In the Senate, Democrats will make a net gain of 2 in the Senate, flipping Colorado, Maine, and Arizona, while Republicans would flip the Alabama Senate seat. In the House, Republicans will flip 15 to 20 seats, so this is just essentially what's going to happen no matter what. And next up, the dreaded TA. I showed this article to my teacher, and he laughed at that title, so I did something good. And nothing changed except Nebraska's blue. In my opinion, the worst scenario to occur, a 269 to 269 tie, by which of the 12th Amendment the House would choose the president and the Senate would choose the vice president. This favors both Trump and Pence. In the House, each state gets 1 vote per state, so even though Joe Biden would most likely get more raw votes, the president would win more state delegates. President Trump would win re-election in the House and Mike Pence would be selected in the Senate. Democrats could be at a disadvantage if Senator Harris isn't allowed to vote for herself on the floor. Once again, leftists will be enraged for this, calling for impeachment, death to the president, etc. It's happened before. Many people may call it a joke, but we could be heading to the second American Civil War. The right versus left. War within the suburbs as they burn to the ground, as leftists have warned if Biden didn't win. As leftists have warned if Biden didn't win. As Americans, we must be prepared for any scenario, good or bad. Honestly, if these final 3 scenarios happen, we must pray to God, we must pray to anybody, to pray to whatever God you worship, Allah, God, the spaghetti monster, it doesn't matter. Just pray that it's one of these first 4 scenarios. I don't care if it's a Biden landslide victory as long as the riots stop and we have a clear, decisive winner. I don't care. It could be a Trump victory and I would still have the same opinion. Honestly. I do have a video that I plan on doing if Joe Biden wins the election. And people are going to call me a hypocrite for it, but I don't care. It's something that I have thought ever since the reality of Biden could win came to my mind, which was always, mostly, I think. But anyway, guys, this is the Chaotic One saying peace.